In this video, I'm going to show you an alternate cooking source just in case the power goes out, and it's coming right up. If we're just meeting, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach traditional homemaking for today's homemaker. So if you want to learn more about making and keeping a home, subscribe and tap that little bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, let's jump into it. Several of my viewers have asked, what do I do if the power goes out? What if I can't use my stove? This is one of the options that I've come up with. So we're going to be making spiced apple chili. We're going to be using this expert grill and my Legend cast iron Dutch oven. So my husband's going to get the grill fired up, and I'll bring out the Dutch oven and the preps that we need to make the chili. So while hubby was out getting the grill set up, I played sous chef. I chopped one large onion, just roughly, and covered it with some plastic wrap. And then I took 2 Granny Smith apples, peeled them, sliced them, and then I diced them. And we were using the Grable Country cooked ground beef as the basis for our chili. You can see there's a little fat on top of the meat, not a whole lot, just a little, which was needed. And then of course there's liquid in the can. We sauteed the onion in the fat and the juices that came with the ground beef. We've got the ground beef and the onions in, and it's starting to heat up. And we also used a teaspoon of minced garlic. I had a jar in the fridge that was already peeled and minced up, so that's what I used for this particular dish. And then we added 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste, 3 teaspoons of chili powder, and I added that off camera. For some reason my camera was acting up, so you missed me adding that. But 3 teaspoons of chili powder, 3 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I let that simmer for a while just to put a little bit of bloom on those spices. Then I added 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, three cups of beef broth. And this was the beef broth that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and it tasted okay, but I did feel the need for a little more, so I did add a teaspoon of my Better Than Bouillon beef base. One can of chili beans, undrained. And this chili, just looking at it, reminds me of the chili that you see in those chili cook-offs. And then I added my apples. I gave that a little stir. Then I added a ½ teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. thought I'd take a little taste just to see if I needed to add any more seasoning. Nice and spicy. Could use a little bit more salt. I added just a little bit more salt and a little bit more of the chili powder. I didn't use a regulation chili powder. I had a special blend and it didn't have quite enough chili seasoning in it. This part. Then I put the lid back on and let it simmer for about another 15 minutes. Well, it's time to get this off the grill, so let's take a look. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. It's been cooking for about 45 minutes on this grill, and it just really looks delicious. Let me get this in the house. We'll do a little taste test, and then we'll let you know how things worked out cooking with this pan and on the grill. So hang on.
Get the door real quick.
Okay. Well, this was actually a lot of fun. I feel like a real pioneer. Cooking outside on the grill, it was just lots of fun. And cooking on a cast iron Dutch oven outside is a little bit different kind of experience, but it was a lot of fun. So let me get this served up, and then I'll come back and let you know how well we like the preps that we used and the cast iron skillet, or rather the cast iron Dutch oven. Notice I made some corn muffins to accompany our chili. I really enjoyed making that chili with that cast iron Dutch oven. Now I've got my notes together so I can share with you a little bit more about what's what. So let's talk about the preps that I use. First of all, I use the ground cooked beef, and this is pretty hard to come by. It is made by a local meat packer, the Grable Country, and it's a 13-ounce can. It cost about $4 a can, maybe $4.50, somewhere in there. And like I said, it's 13 ounces, and the recipe called for a pound of ground beef. And you know, when you cook a pound of ground beef, by the time you cook it down, you've probably got about 13 ounces or less. And when we dumped it out, there looked like there was a pretty good amount of ground beef in there, but there was also a bit of liquid. I was wondering how much oil I would have because I needed to saute the onion with the ground beef. And there was a little bit of oil, but not a lot. But we kept the liquid that was in there and went ahead and just cooked the onion in that. And that worked out okay. So there's the ground beef. The other biggie was the can opener. I had to make sure that I used this. We have an electric can opener that we use in the house, but since we were going to be cooking outside and we wanted to be using our preps and acting as if our power was out, the can opener was a must. So other preps that I used was a can of tomato paste and a can of chili beans, and those were already on my working pantry, but I also have additional ones on my extended pantry. And then I used 2 Granny Smith apples, and I bought those today. I had apples in the fridge, but the hubby enjoys apples, so it's hard to keep them in there. So I bought 2 particularly for this chili just to make sure we had them. And I found the recipe for this spiced apple chili on the Taste of Home website, so I will link it in the description box below so you can check that out should you wish to. Now let's talk about the Legend cast iron Dutch oven. It was really nice to work with, but it's the first time I've worked with a cast iron Dutch oven. My other Dutch oven is either an enamel cast iron Dutch oven or it's a regular metallic kind of Dutch oven. So this one was really a little different. And as I was stirring things in the pot, I felt like a wooden spoon would work better than some of the metal spoons that I sometimes like to use. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm stirring with a wooden spoon in that cast iron Dutch oven. The other thing is that it was heavy and it was also hot. I didn't try those little orange grippy things that came with it. I used regular hot pads because that's what I'm used to, and I was able to get a good grip and lift it up and down. But it was heavy, and so the hubby did help me move it around from time to time. The other thing is that the pot really holds the heat very well. Once it heats up, it really holds in the heat, so that was good. And then I really enjoyed having the lid to put on it because the lid put on it helped to keep the heat in, especially since we were cooking outside on a windy day. Like I said, I felt like a real pioneer woman. And this is the grill that we use. It is the Expert Grill, a portable gas grill. And the grill came unassembled, but the hubby was able to put it together pretty quickly. And I think it's something that I could even put together. It's a portable gas grill that uses propane gas. And as a reminder, you can only use these grills outside. Not in the house with the windows open, but best practice is to use them outside. This little grill was pretty inexpensive. I picked it up at Walmart and it was less than $25. So it's probably not the best quality, but it is certainly going to do the trick for what we need. And all you need to use with it is a little container of propane gas. And you can pick up these little 16-ounce containers of propane gas just about anywhere. Hardware stores, you can pick them up at Walmart, and you can also pick them up in my Amazon store. I'll put a link below so that you can check it out. It's really simple to store. You just take the propane gas off, fold the legs up, and put it away. Now, what were some of the disadvantages that I felt? Well, first of all, it was a very windy day, and so the wind kept blowing on the fire, so we had to turn the gas up relatively high to keep the heat going. So if we were to use this again for this purpose, we would try to use it either on a less windy day, but if power is out, you don't always get that options. But the location we were in the yard, we chose because of the sun. We needed to be where we could get good video. Otherwise, we'd probably put it closer to the house where we could get out of the wind, and that would be helpful. Or even put up some kind of a windbreak if we were doing this for real. So if you want to see more videos about how I'm using my preps, click here. And if you're a beginning prepper, you're just getting started and you want to find out how to go about it, you can click here. This video is actually part of a series in my Prepper Pantry, building a 3-month food supply, where I show you how to begin to build a 3-month Prepper Pantry and kind of show you my journey. And there's other tips and tricks I give you along the way. So be sure and check out my Prepper Pantry playlist. And there are a few friends of mine that are doing great things in regards to building a Prepper Pantry. One of them is my friends Peggy and Don at Peggy and Don, and they started putting together a Prepper Pantry about 3 or 4 months ago themselves, and they have done a wonderful job and come really a long way. So I think you'll be interested to see how they're doing and how they're building their Prepper Pantry. Another friend of mine that's doing a very nice job is Robin at Faith and Flour. Robin started building her pantry about 2 months ago, and she has made a lot of progress. And then there's my friend Darcy at Organized by Darcy, and I really like how Darcy is showing how she's organizing things in her pantry, so you might want to be sure and check her out as well. And then my sister from another mister is Mary at Mary's Nest. Mary has taken building a Prepper Pantry to the next level. She believes in cooking for the modern pioneer. So she does nutrient-dense food, traditional cooking, pretty much things you make from scratch. So she tells you what you need to have in your Prepper Pantry. And she also has a thing she calls the 4 corners pantry, where she talks about the freezer, the fridge, the working pantry, as well as the extended pantry. So several of my friends have some really good information that you can benefit from in regards to a Prepper Pantry. So I will link those in the description box below. In the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying you're not done yet. Click on the link in the comment section below and check out my video on my Prepper Pantry, building a 3-month food supply. And I will see you next time.
Great.
It's really good.